Your
And that is,
veil is lifting.
I know, but the veil knows I in no way want to see anything. Like I have said that from the get. I'm like, please don't touch me unless they ask, and I don't want to see anybody. I love you, but I'm not trying to see anyone. I'm a huge scaredy cat, like the biggest puss ever, and I got these gifts. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even sleep with a stuffed animal in my room like today.
Yeah.
What if it
Would
comes
you
alive?
trade in your gifts if you could?
No.
And now for something completely different. In a world where everyone seems to have the answers, two people ask questions. Welcome to the Woo Woo Crew.
Well, how you damn doing?
Oh, fantastic. How are you damn doing?
Damn, if I was any better, it'd be about six of me.
About six of you?
Maybe seven. I don't know where they'd sleep
Yeah.
though. You know.
True.
I suppose one of them could sleep at the foot of the bed.
Yeah. Okay, it's weird. I can hear everything in the house and I'm not loving it so far.
You can hear everything in your house?
I hear everything. I'm just used to only hearing you.
Oh, because you're normally wearing headphones.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Did
going
you click
headphoneless.
did you click the button that says I'm not wearing headphones?
I don't know. I think so.
Hell yeah.
Hope,
Cool.
hope so.
Cool. That's good.
How was your week?
It's going pretty good, pretty good. Gonna be sliding over down a little further south here in a week.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Where are you going?
down near Sarasota.
Sarasota.
It's fun
I
to
don't know
say,
what
isn't
that
it?
is. It is. It's fun to say.
It's on the western side of the peninsula of the United States.
Oh, okay. And remember when you were like, "Hey, you should make it rain here," and I was like, "No. What if like some weird hurricane happens that's never happened before?" And then Cancun got hit with a hurricane. I was like, "That was obviously not me."
That's so
Mm-hmm.
the weather thing, right? Um, and maybe we've said this before. I'm not opposed to the idea that you have abilities and that
Hmm.
you can do stuff. Um, but that's a more challenging one when it's this far away.
Yeah.
I'd be really curious, to be around you.
Tried it that far away. And it's not instantaneous. It's instantaneous if we're in danger. Like if we're about to get hit with a massive storm or a tornado, that's when I just push it out. Like I just
Mhm.
imagine it not being around my house, not being worse somewhere, but just not near us. It works so far every
So,
time.
like the couple times that you've sent like a couple screenshots or whatever, it'll
Mhm.
be like of a radar,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, all right, but I don't. Those radars don't mean shit to me. They're never
So
accurate.
yeah, like it would basically like the dot where my house would be. It was like all red, and then there's like a horseshoe around the dot for about 5 miles of just nothing, and that's my house.
But I'm saying though, like
It's like before and after shots.
I don't know how accurate those radar things are, though. That's what I'm saying.
I know that we were supposed to have a tornado. Even we were supposed to have tornadoes on the day of the eclipse, and we had nothing because I was like, no, not on
What
eclipse.
about if you're just like, say, you got that property, you go to the property and
If I
weather
want clear
forecast,
skies, I will get them. Yeah.
huh?
Like if I need clear skies for like a family something, I'll make that happen.
Do you have like a timeline on when you can offer that? Could you
Mm-mm.
turn this into a service that you offer for people?
No,
Why
I
not?
probably shouldn't even do it as much as I do. I don't know the rules. No one's ever taught me. I did it once because I was trying to tell a story and I was annoyed that my husband was just looking at the radar and I'm like, what? And he was like, well, there's a tornado coming. And I was like, ugh. And he goes, oh my God. And I was like, what? And then he showed me the radar, how it like changed. So it went
Hmm.
from red over the house to like this horseshoe around the house. Um, and then other things, it's like if my mom's worried, like it's supposed to rain on Easter, and I'm like, it'll be fine. it'll be good. And she's like, well, what? And I'm like, it won't. It'll be fine. Because if I say that to most people, they're like, okay.
I mean, well,
So
in the
it's just
realm
a
of just
for a
like
convenience thing sometimes.
the macro perspective of everything is projection, and our thoughts and emotions do have a great deal to do with what we experience in this world, and it's deeper than we all thought, and it could be even deeper than we think now, even deeper than you think, even deeper than I think, and continues to be that. And so, is it a possibility? Yeah, maybe. I could see it. I could see, like, you, like, maybe a still day and you're able to bring some wind. I could see that being a thing. I feel like I've had some moments with nature where I'm like, well, hold on now. But I'd be curious, like, if I were to come out there and visit you guys on that property, you're getting, and, like, say it's like a clear day and there's no rain in the forecast, I'm like, all right, go
See,
ahead
it's
and bring a
almost
storm
like,
in now.
that's like when you're like, I don't know. It's almost like when it's a Bible reference of all things. They're like, Jesus, do tricks. And he was like, that's not the fuck how it works, you stupid fox. I'm pretty sure that's verbatim.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. It's like Psalm 102. Why is there a P? Why? Psalms. I'll always call it that. But yeah, it's more of like if my mom's with, that's really the only time I've ever done it is if, because I don't want to just play with it. It's not meant, it's nature. It's not mine. I am of it, but it's not mine to like do as I wish willy nilly. I did one time because I really wanted the validation so bad.
Yeah.
And then I felt crappy like immediately. And because my family member was like laughing and she's like, well, can you make it rain this Saturday so we don't have like the early morning games? And I was like, yes, where? And it's like I wanted them to know. And Saturday morning, sure as shit, game was rained out. And even in my brain, I'm like, well, I take it as a win, but I won't know, and I would never know any of the stuff I do. Like, did you not die because I told you not to go over here, or were you just not going to die anyways? I don't know. I just know that it works when I use
Yeah.
it.
No, I get that. I mean, I
But I
know
don't
that,
think I could just be like, it's going to rain now. Like I can't. I haven't done that.
like, coming back to, if it was the first time that we had hung out, that time that I had you on my
Yeah.
podcast or whatever, and you opened with that, I'd be like, all right, maybe
Have a good one.
I'm gonna stop recording this one, actually. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
here's
But,
the thing. But why do you think that? Like our government's playing with the weather.
well, I mean, but where the way I see it now and how I view it now, the level of conditioned thought that
Yeah.
clearly, is at play to help keep us away from the power that we have within us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, like, so the more I go down my road with that, the more I'm like, yeah, holy shit. So it's not that I'm not, like, I'm more open to it now. I'm like, I still got those analytical mind questions. Like, I
For
don't
sure.
trust the radar thing and stuff like that. But in the category of like, kind of in this, have we talked about the erasing clouds?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I've had a little bit of experience with that, and, like, it fucking worked. Shit,
I
you
know.
know.
It's crazy. You were the one that told me about it, and I tried it, and I was like, sure as shit.
So,
Like
just in
today,
case,
there's a single cloud out.
might as well just go a little bit deeper there, since I brought it up, in case some, said, what is he talking about, erasing clouds or whatever,
Um,
but yeah, so it needs to be still, right? Like, still sky,
yeah.
still white clouds, like the kind of sky where they're not moving around and shit. They're staying right where they're at,
Mhm.
And I think that you have to be in a situation where no one is watching you, and there's no unconscious fear of being seen doing it, because then you're going to think
Otherwise,
you
it's
look
not
crazy,
good.
right?
Yep. And that's
And
what I'm really thinking about.
but when you have that setting, you just sit there and you either take a pen or a finger or whatever, and you just fucking, do this on the erase, 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 erase,
And
erase, erase,
I feel
erase,
like saying
erase.
it helps.
Huh?
I feel like saying it helped
I
too,
think it
though.
does. I think it does, as you're doing it, and but you're zoned in on it. You kind of go into that trance as
Yeah.
you're looking at it, kind of, and you just fucking, and
You
then
would be shocked what you could do just with that. That's just your full focused attention on your intention of I'm gonna make this cloud go away or I'm gonna make it rain Saturday.
yeah,
And
I had
all
one.
it's just believing that you could do it. So if you
Yeah.
believe it, when I don't believe that I can make it rain right now, I'm not gonna do it. I can't because I won't believe it.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. Like, if we were in a situation where, you said, you know what, I'm going to do it right now, and you felt good about it, but I'm in the picture and I have my internal hesitance about it.
My
So
tummy, I
I'm
started to
thinking,
get no-nos. Yeah, I didn't used to do that. I would do it. I was playing with it kind of like every time it was going to rain. I'm like, no, I don't want it. And then we had a drought for like a really long time. And I was like, I can't say for certain that I had anything to do with that. But if I don't know, maybe I shouldn't just, like, if I'm bitching about chemtrails, maybe I shouldn't play with the weather, you know?
well,
So
I'm just
I
saying, like,
stopped.
if in that hypothetical situation you were like, yeah, I'm doing it, but I would had my internal resistance to it, my
Yeah,
thought is that that might constrict it from happening, not because you weren't in a position to do it, but because I was there and I was like, all right, let's see you do this.
right.
And so now
Yeah.
there's,
Because
you know,
there's, I mean, the act of not believing is usually more something that'll hinder like a personal healing. Like if I'm trying to, because you can affect people's will, but that's where it gets really murky as far as playing with that stuff. I don't know. Again, there's not like a real guidebook. There's not. I don't have a guru. Everything that I've learned, I learn about after something happens. So I was telling a story. I played with the weather. I noticed that I made it stop, and I was like, maybe I could do it again and again. And then I kept doing it. So it's like things like that. And then I learned. So I'm super excited. We're finally going. It's like a pilgrimage place, but Chaco Canyon,
mhm.
and we're going for our anniversary trip. And we were watching a documentary about Chaco Canyon. And one of the indigenous people was like, he was saying how they had a 50-year drought. And then he was like, well, you have to understand, people back then would use sorcery to control the elements. And some people did it way too much. And I turned and look at Chris like, oh, they caused a 50-year drought. So
Mhm.
yeah, that was already, I had already decided, like something in my tummy was like, I just don't think you should do that all willy nilly. So I haven't been.
A question just popped in my head. Do you have any voodoo dolls?
It's so weird that you asked that now of all times. I don't have one. No, I don't need one. No one does, but my daughter bought one at a souvenir shop on our vacation. And I was like, huh, what's that for? And she's like, I just think it's really cute. And I was like, okay. But even like the tag on the back says like warning, use with extreme caution. This is not a toy. And I told her, because she knows how I feel about that. She'll go to sleepovers and stuff. They play with the Ouija board and she kind of dips out. So it's funny. You think that the woo woo mom would be the one, but if y'all don't know what y'all are doing and they don't, you shouldn't play with it.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I don't know, she believes it, but as soon as both of them have come online and like going through puberty, it's immediate. Like even my son, my little boy who always like has experienced so much stuff with me, and we were at the park recently and he was like, I don't remember that. And I'm like, oh, he's starting to kind of like, okay, mom, I'm not gonna look at crazy lights in the sky, woman. Like I'm done. And it's a little heartbreaking, but simultaneously I know exactly what it is. Like they're coming online and the programming is kicking in, even when I've been here the whole time sending
It's
me out.
if they're going to school,
They are, yep.
I mean,
It is, and I know, and all I can do is what I can do.
the way I think about that, and you may already think that way, or maybe whatever, but I think about like if in our adolescence, that's when we're like all these emotional things, wounds, and barriers pop up. But you think about like that version of yourself in school, it's like you want unconsciously, you want to fit in and you
We
want
all
friends
do.
and you
Yeah,
want to be cool. And so you just start fucking molding to, and you don't, and, but by the time you get to a space and like, what happened?
yeah. Oh, yeah, and especially at that age where you're coming online, so you don't even know who you are. You just know I'm not little anymore, but I'm not big.
Mhm.
And so you feel weird, you look weird, you don't know what to wear. You go super this way. Like I had a full goth year
Mhm.
because I didn't talk for like a year.
Mhm.
It got really weird, but I
Yeah.
grew out of it. I'm fine. So yeah, it's just being there for them and holding that space when they're here and reprogramming what I can, but also knowing like I don't own them, they're not mine. I
Yeah.
am honored to bring them into the world and grateful every day to be their mother, but it's all I get to do, they're gonna,
Would you say that they are your greatest teachers?
oh my God, yes. Oh my God. Like everything from huge aha moments to just simple personality things where I'm like, dude, don't be so dramatic. Like, where do you get that from? Oh. And then I'll say like the exact same thing 20 minutes later that he did. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's me. So you learn about yourself and
Mm-hmm.
then you learn so much just, yeah, about yourself. Like you remember that age and they'll go through something and it'll conjure a memory and you're like, oh, that was tough on little me at the time. So it's 100%, they're my biggest teachers.
And like, I'm assuming also with like little, whenever the triggers would pop up, something they do or something they say, those moments.
It's definitely more related to Chris with the triggers,
Mm-hmm.
but my son can definitely do it. It's happened twice where I was like, I had to like leave the room because my feelings were so hurt, and immediately that pissed off response came on, and I was like, what? Like I was shocked that I had the exact same chemical response with my little person as my big person, but I guess that was my validation scientifically that it's a trigger.
Yeah. 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 I admire those that have little ones running around. I don't know if it's for me or not, but I admire you.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
thought it wasn't definitely. I was like, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. I don't want to do none of that. I just didn't want it. I just didn't want it. It was like something I didn't want to sign up for. And my family wasn't horrible. My childhood was, I thought it was perfect, honestly. And then I really looked at it and I was like, oh, okay. And I think we all might do that to a degree. We're like, my shit was rosy. I don't know about you. And then if you actually really dig in there and just look at some core memories from certain ages, you're like, huh, that could have messed me up a little bit. And
Yeah.
it's just helpful to work on, to know where your root causes are or whatever. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's a necessity by any means to grow. I just think it's a really good way. Yeah. Oh, and hopefully, I pray everyone gets that out of being a parent, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there are those that don't, due to their own level of conditioning or
Yeah.
drugs or whatever it is, but
Gotta break them curses, them generational curses.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it really is. I mean, I can see it, within my family, the women in my family, very strong women, incredibly strong women, almost to a fault where it's like I can do everything myself. I'm not relying on anyone, and that's just a huge wall.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's like that's the line I come from, and I come from these like stubborn as a mule women who drive me up the wall sometimes. Love them to death.
Mm-hmm.
But that again is helpful for me to see when I'm doing the same thing, or like no, and it comes from pain and
Mm-hmm.
fear of pain is all that boils down to, and I know that, but it's still like, and it's interesting. I feel like I kind of fall right back into it when I'm with my mom or
Mm-hmm.
like at my family's house. It's almost like I revert back to old
Yeah.
me.
The
Like,
setting is
especially
like
if
this.
I'm not in like a really good spot, like if it's
Mm-hmm.
just a regular old day, it's so easy to fall back into it. And then I leave and I'm like, but what? Of course she's never gonna think I'm like this new person if I keep being the old me when I'm there. But
Mm-hmm.
I find that interesting. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
don't know why that
I
is.
think it's like the inner child comes online because of the familiar energy, and it kind of comes in. It
And then
just
they see
kicks
you like always as like probably like 16, 17, whatever. Like they have that image of me stuck in their mind as well. So that's how they.
in. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God, Phil. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how we were talking about sleep paralysis?
Kind of.
And I don't know if we podcasted it, but we were talking about it, and it was like how I watched this whole show, and this woman was talking about how she was that any time you've experienced sleep paralysis, it's shadow people that are doing it. And I was like, what? Because I had it happen once. So my daughter was getting her hair cut yesterday, and out of nowhere, the hairstylist was like, yeah, I had sleep paralysis recently. Or no, she said something moved my leg in bed last night. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like something lightly touched you. And she was like, no, it moved my leg. And I was like, oh, hell no. Like, no, I would have left immediately.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I need to come sage your house because she is one of my brother's friends. And then she said that my brother had told her that he recently had sleep paralysis. And hers was interesting because So I asked her, I was like, did you see anything? And she said when she opened her eyes, she was in that twilight zone. It was right here. Nope, that's terrifying. And my brother
What was
said
right
that
there?
this like dark, well, no, it wasn't dark. She said it was a person right at her face,
Mm-hmm.
but an entity. It was like black and white. It's like a ghost,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
a black and white face. And then my brother saw like a dark void shadow thing in the closet doorway.
Mm.
And weirdly enough, in all the stories, they're like always in the doorways. And it's funny because I have a video of an orb like going through a door and up the stairs. So I guess the dead still use the stairs and the doors. It's just, I find it funny, but we think of them as like walking through walls, but they really still just use the doorways. But I remember with my sleep paralysis, I didn't see anything like a dark anything, but I felt 100% like something is doing this to me. Like something scary is making this happen. And I couldn't see a doorway because of the way that my bed was set up. It was behind me. I would have had to get up. My light just flickered. I would have had to get up and turn to see it. But
That's when you kind of wake up, but you're not able to control your body.
at all. So it's like your mind came online, but your body didn't.
Mm.
It's so bizarre. And I had no fucking clue what was happening. I was in high school and like I was taking a nap after school before work. And I knew my stepsister was in the living room. And so it's like I was trying to open, my eyes were open, I could see in the room. And I was trying to open my mouth to scream, but just nothing. And
Mm.
it's a weird, terrifying, bizarre feeling to be
Mm.
paralyzed, but
Mm.
conscious. Yeah, it
Mm.
was a weird one.
Mm. I would prefer to not have that on the menu.
I know. Yeah, no, that hasn't happened to me since high school. But the lady on the show, it was some show on Gaia, was saying that, it's something to do with these entities and then also possible aliens or alien abduction if there's lost time. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? So I just thought it was a pretty interesting synchronicity that she blurted that out like during the haircut. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
So and then two people like within the past month. I don't know. I just thought that was
Yeah.
because I've been seeing more out of the corners of my eyes lately, and I don't like it.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
it's when I say lately, I mean 40 times a day
Hmm.
versus once or twice. Yeah, it's like, and it always seems like people. It's constantly like there's a person right there, and I go to see like who's there. Like you feel the presence of a person. I'll see an outline of a person, and then nothing.
Your
And that is,
veil is lifting.
I know, but the veil knows I in no way want to see anything. Like I have said that from the get. I'm like, please don't touch me unless they ask, and I don't want to see anybody. I love you, but I'm not trying to see. I'm a huge scaredy cat, like the biggest puss ever, and I got these gifts. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even sleep with a stuffed animal in my room like today.
Yeah.
If it
Would
comes
you
alive.
trade in your gifts if you could?
No.
Yeah.
No. Some days I would say yes, but no. And really, truly, it's like we all have it. It's just I don't know. I do believe I think it's like sports. Everyone can play sports. We all have the capacity to do it. Some are better at certain sports than others. Some are just all around gifted. And it's whether or not you practice and put forth the effort to be good at it. That's what I think it boils down to.
Yeah, man.
And you know how some people are like, you have the MJs of the world. Like some people are inherently good at things. So
Hmm.
some people are going to inherently be better mediums or, telepathy, what have you. But it's all in layers.
We're all gifted
We're all gifted, special, and unique.
in the eyes of the Lord.
In the eyes of the Lord, infant, baby Jesus.
Infinite infant.
Infinite, infant, baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus. I was listening to somebody talking about the channeling, different people that have lived here before, really far back, more recent, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy had been doing it a while. I think I may have sent you the link to the dude, but he was talking about how Jesus is a common, what people report seeing a lot in near-death experiences and stuff like that. And he says that from his perspective and all that he's researched in the category, that Jesus has a really good personality, that he's really funny.
He's hilarious. Like if when I read the Bible now, and I only read the stuff in red, like what Jesus said, it's mind blowing to me. I read it and I'm like, how did I interpret this so differently before? But it's because someone else was interpreting it for me, and now that I've had personal experience and I'm reading it, I
Reading
can,
what now? You said the Bible?
yeah, just passages. Like I'll just read
Mhm.
some of just the red stuff that Jesus said verbatim, and it's really interesting because some of it, like, it sounds completely like spiritual, like he's talking about metaphysics, and I think
Mhm.
he was a lot, and we just didn't get it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Archaic minds and whatnot.
I know. I like how we always assume that other is less than. Anything in the olden days that we were all stupid. Every animal in the world dumb as shit. And they were like, what? Dolphins like created telepathy with their minds and they didn't like evolve to have echolocation. They were like, I'm gonna have echolocation and then made it out of matter. They use 20% of their brains. And I just love that we're like, oh, we just found out because now we can watch them more than 5 seconds a day. And because we just thought everything was dumb. Like how we think plants can't like communicate or feel, and they can. So
So
I
are
think
you
it's,
saying that there was a time when dolphins did not have that ability?
yeah, that
And
was
when
on
was
just
that?
a regular old nature documentary I was watching.
Oh.
But I thought that was pretty cool. They were when he said they didn't even evolve to have the echolocation, they just made it. I was like, the fuck? I want to use
Huh.
20% of my brain.
Well, that's cool.
I know. I love dolphins. They're like mad. They are. Ugh.
They are great.
All animals are magic. They know
They're fun to
everything,
watch.
and we
I
don't.
like watching animals too.
Yes.
I do. There are
It's,
certain animals that I'd rather not watch too closely, but
for sure. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
It's so
Mm-hmm.
cool when it happens.
Mm-hmm. So
Speaking of,
yep.
I made a new piece of regalia. I'm so
Mm.
excited because I have, my feather collection. Oh, geez.
Oh
Oh,
geez.
oh, geez. That's one of my goose feathers. Snow goose.
Mm.
That's nice.
That's nice.
That's a real nice. Okay, these are just like my headbands that I made, but I wear them like if I dance or if I'm doing healings or whatnot. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the power, it's the animal medicine that you're calling on. So you wear it whenever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
it's really cool because I had, it's all stuff that I found and I made it all by myself instead of
Nice.
paying $400 on Etsy for someone to give me one. But this is my new piece. Ta-da. These are all duck and owl feathers.
So that's you would wear that like a necklace?
Uh-huh. So it's a chest piece. It has
Oh,
shells and bones and then the feathers. So it'd be
okay.
like that.
Cool.
It's freaking awesome. You know how much time this took? Look at that.
I like
God,
when you're like, eh? Eh?
what do you, you're going to wear it? I'll send you one. Not
Uh,
really. Oh,
no,
God.
I
It
don't
would
think
be,
so.
no, I wouldn't anyways. Are you crazy? These are my medicines.
Yeah, heard that. I might wear a
And
bracelet or something.
oh, yeah, the bracelets are cool, like the cuffs. And now I've been doing leather working because of making the regalia. So it's fun because you just learn a lot in the
Mm-hmm.
process.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
love it.
yeah, me too. And then
I
especially
love it.
like, collecting all of it, and then whenever you put it on after you've spent an exhausting amount of time making something, and but you get to put it on and wear it and dance, like it's a beautiful moment, and it helps me feel connected to my ancestors. Like they didn't have hot glue and Amazon to get feathers. You had to find shit and make it, and that's why they held so much respect for it.
Yeah. You gotta find shit and make it. That should be a shirt.
You gotta find shit and make it.
I mean, that's really what it is. Like, if you think about like someone in, ourselves included, like wanting something new and different, well, we have to explore,
Yep.
and then once we find when we've been exploring, then say, okay, now let's make this shit.
Hell yeah.
You gotta find the shit, and then you
And
gotta
you
make
gotta make this shit. I love it. It's our new slogan.
it. I think that's great.
I think that should be a shirt. I think that's great.
There's
Or
another one.
the
We
front.
got
I
two
think
shirts
that's
now.
great.
I think that's great. What do you think is great? Do you think this is great? I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I said I think that's great.
I said I think that's great. That would be so annoying. You could do that for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's like the Who's on first, Abbott and Costello.
Yes.
Or whatever. Wise on. Yeah. It's been a while for that one. Good comedy, though.
Good comedy.
This is a different podcast. We're going a little bit more slow, low key today. It's not as animated.
I know. Oh, my light's flickering again. I know. It's hard, like with the kids. I wasn't like crazy sad. Definitely better than usual, but the house feels weirdly still and quiet without them here.
Oh, because normally they're there.
Yeah, that was the first day back to school today.
And how long was it? 2 months that they were out? 2 months. Yeah.
Almost 3. They get a
You got used to that, and now it's not there. Yeah.
Yeah. You get used to all the extra energy and you're like, it's so much, and then it's gone. And I'm like, man.
What are you going to do when they move on to wherever they go, college or whatever?
I don't know. I'll cross that bridge. I've already had to go through so many little moments of grief that I'm like, okay, no one told me about all this. They only tell you about when they leave that you're sad. But I go through it on the way there because, like, at first with them not being little anymore, I mean, that messed me up so bad. And knowing that you're like everything with your last is it. You're never going to do it again. You're never going to have this moment as a mother. You're never going to have your little ducklings that follow along behind you. They're their own people, and that's it. And it's just like the rug gets ripped out from underneath you like the day it happens. It doesn't happen slowly. It happens. It's immediate, and then you're just left standing there with your dick in the wind. Like, who am I? What do I just eat bonbons all day? Like, what the fuck? So it's hard. You have a bit of a self-identity crisis. And then the cool part and the beautiful part after crying for like 2 weeks, I was realizing, I'm like, but there's such amazing people and I'm meeting them every day, and that part's amazing.
Super, super cool. Yeah.
It is.
If it was like a sitcom or something and they were going off to college, I could see you like sneaking in the car and showing up at the dorm, like, hey guys.
And I would just have my jammies and act like that was not even a big deal.
You say what?
I would just have like my jammies on, like we're having a sleepover.
Yeah.
No, I know. I worry.
Oh, I think he'll be just fine.
I know. The plan is RV life and travel for a while.
Hell yeah.
We'll be youngins. I mean, oh God. Yeah. It's 5 years. 5 years till that's crazy.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. You're, whatever number you are, it's actually the new 2 decades before
whatever
that.
Number you are. I think I'm 30.
So I'm saying like
40, 30.
So there you go. So the 40s,
37, I think.
40s are the new 20s. The 50s are the new 30s.
That's what I'm saying. I can feel it because I'm that age. But I remember in high school, I was like 30. Were they like dead? You might as well have said 100. It was the same to me. Same. So
it's funny, like when I'll say, you
don't even know shit till you're 30. You're a dumb box of rocks till you're at least 32. Yeah. And you think you know everything, but you don't.
Yeah, it's a funny thing when you're describing someone, and you say, well, they're older, and then you think, well, wait a minute, what does that mean?
I'll ask the kids, I'm like, what does older mean? And let's tread lightly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because that's when I usually get, like your age. I'm like, okay. So an adult, let's just say a grown-up person, not older.
Quote unquote adulthood.
Mm.
When in reality, the whole goal is to be more kid.
I know. In reality, you grew up to work really hard to try to take off the bullshit lies and just be yourself, which was who you were when you were just a fat little happy kid.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that the truth? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know
We,
that there's a previous version of myself that uh, would say that, you know what, I'm going to scrap this episode, but I'm not going to do that. You know?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's also surprising when you go back to like, because I'll be like, oh yeah, like when
I
I'm sitting there
totally forgot we
laughing
talked
at
about
my own
that.
podcast, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Well, I think because in the beginning, I just had it kind of goes back to that with the other podcast or whatever, when I was saying like welcome back to whatever. I had this unconscious mindset of like I'm a on the screen personality, like kind of
I
deal. And
know.
obviously,
Every time I tell Chris, every time I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. I know there's a name for it, but as hard as we try, the minute that camera is recording, we change. Because the second you hit stop, my body relaxes. And I'm like, oh. So, anyways, like how you doing? It's like, wait, fuck, that's what we're trying to do on here, but it's difficult.
I feel like
I didn't
I
even
feel
wear.
like that part has shifted a lot over the course of doing this.
Yeah,
But that there is still a little something there, but slowly it goes away and the more natural it is.
yeah,
But I think that for me it's just the analytical thought of, well, I don't know if this one has enough substance to be an episode.
yeah.
'Cause we've had, from my perspective, we've got some bangers, we've got some great episodes that like there's some good shit in there. And so the
Amen.
analytical mind, like, well, I mean, we touched on a few things, but do you want to just scrap this one? I'm like, no, no, no. You know what? No. I think we're past that.
I was supposed to say, like, just edit them down, but
Yeah, just in fact, let it all
there's
fly.
something, if we both got on and our damn computers worked, someone needed to hear something, you know?
I tell you what.
'Cause I tell you what, that shit right there is hard enough to do on a daily basis.
And if you don't know what to do, sometimes you just got to let go and let God.
You let go and let Jesus take that wheel.
Yeah, and it turns out he's a pretty funny dude. He's kind of like a comedian.
He's funny and he loves shrooms, so that's a thing.
Loves shrooms.
Everyone did back then, apparently. There's
Yeah.
like all kinds of paintings, and everyone's like, no, those are stones. I'm like, that's a shroom. That's a mushroom if I ever saw one. And they're gobbling them up and they're getting the knowledge.
I'll paraphrase the one little short story that the one guy was talking about. He said that there was somebody who had a near-death experience, and Jesus came to him, but he came to him in a suit, and the guy was like, "Why are you in a suit?" And Jesus said, "Well, you wouldn't take me serious if I wasn't."
Shut up. That's hilarious. I've heard, I don't want to say like I've heard Jesus. I don't know who I hear because I don't hear like a voice typically, but I also feel like I've experienced communication with someone that was funny like that. And maybe it was the Jesus.
It could have been the Jesus. And what I love the best is that, like, it makes me feel good. Like I growing up, it was almost like fear Jesus kind of energy.
Right. Like
And
almost.
obviously I don't feel that anymore. But like when I started going down my
I
own
literally feel like
journey,
he's my homie.
I wasn't really looking at that part. I was like, yeah, okay, he's a guy that lived, sort of deal, but I'm going to focus on the things and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I've gotten to a space where I'm like, okay, so I get it. There's the Jesus is here, and that's cool, but it's not like what I was conditioned to think it is.
Exactly. And you get to create your own relationship with this person that lived a long time ago, an ascended master. Like that's, I don't know anything else for facts, but I know that he was wise, just like Ram Dass and Eckhart Tolle. We have, I'm not saying they are the same as Jesus. I know everyone just took a collective, like, get over it. He was the son of God. He's not God. It is what it is. You're worshiping a person. But anyways, he had a lot of really smart stuff to say. Mm-hmm. And when I read it now with my own mind, as opposed to the programming, he's funny. And then you'll be like, oh, well, fuck me. You have some good aha moments from what he says. I love
it. Remember the outtake reel that was on Instagram we did, right? There's one line in there where I'm like, Jesus doesn't want us to have our podcast.
Yes. And you were like, I don't want to put that in there. And I was like, I said something about my asshole, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, worms in it. Yeah. And we're like, and you had the gall to text me, be like, I don't know if I'm going to say Jesus. I don't know if I'm putting Jesus in it. And I was like, my asshole in it. Jesus.
Yeah. I think because there was still like a little bit left over of you don't say his name in vain or whatever. But like that's
Right.
fucking gone now.
No, he would have laughed. Like
He's
people
that's what I was saying. Like he's probably laughing his ass off at that.
exactly. Everyone just needs to calm their tits.
Calm their tits. Probably laughing at
Jesus
that
said,
too.
calm your tits.
That's probably one of his favorite lines.
I bet it is. But I love the meme where it's like a stick figure with boobs like this, and it's like, I can't.
Yeah.
That cracks me up.
I think it's kind of like in Talladega Nights when O'Reilly says, "I like my Jesus with a little bit of," and he starts to describing like how he likes his Jesus, and they're both like, "Well, I like my Jesus like both."
Yes. Oh shit.
I like my Jesus to be like a surfer bum kind of dude, like he's
Oh,
got a
like
surfboard, he's
a
barefoot.
singer smokes, but like real wise and just like drops knowledge and then leaves.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see
yeah.
that. Yeah,
But he's
yeah.
not right. Like he's not pushing it on people. He's just kind of the
Yeah.
dude that sits there at the end of the bar and says,
I was
"What
gonna
do
say
you
he's
think?"
a serious loner with
Yeah,
the few people that hang,
like
just
Matthew McConaughey would maybe play the role. I don't know.
oh no.
No.
All right, all right. Phil, no, not him. Okay. No, I would say probably someone not white would be
Okay.
more accurate.
Well,
Yeah. He was from the Middle East, so he wasn't
yeah,
white.
yeah.
Just
Well,
like
and that's fair.
I
I'm
know
just
it. I was a full blown like in my 20s, and I was like, "Well, son of a bitch." I never fucking thought about where he was born. I
yeah,
just saw the pictures, and that's who I prayed to. But that man was not white.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, did you
Um,
know?
that makes sense to me. I was just thinking about
Every
what.
picture you've seen ever.
Hmm?
I was like every depiction you've seen ever.
Yeah, I was thinking more about like what actor would be good at playing that role of like the dude at the end of the bar, and then the maybe it's like a bachelor party, and then the one dude kind of turns and goes, "Hey man, what do you think about blah blah blah?" And then Jesus just drops this like one liner that
Yeah,
blows your mind, but it's like cool and suave, and then he
right.
leaves, and then you're like, "What just happened?" And
What
so
the
my first thought was like, not that he's the best actor, but I feel
no,
like
Matthew McConaughey, like he had his heyday. Like
he could drop a one liner like that.
he can, and he's got the southern drawl.
Right.
Um, have
Which
you seen? There's
Jesus
this show
apparently
called
was not from the South.
I know, but he should have been right.
Or was, I don't know how far north that is over there. I'm not looking at
Oh,
the map.
I don't fucking. If it ain't Texas, I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
I don't even know my north, south, east, and wests. I know
If
left
it
and right.
ain't Texas, it ain't real.
If it ain't Texas, it ain't real. And I got a rock back there, and it says Texas. Y'all means all. How sweet is that?
I tell you what, if that was
I'll
any
tell you
sweeter,
what.
it might be close to a Georgia peach or something.
I'll tell you what. Oh, some iced tea, a rocking chair, and a front porch is all you need.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of sweets at night.
I
It's
love
really
some white
easy to be
tea.
a Southern girl. You just give us something fancy to eat and something pretty to look at. That's it.
That is
We're not,
simple.
we're not too picky.
Yeah, that's good. Not high maintenance.
Oh yes. Well, I
Yeah.
might.
Well, in certain
Well,
categories.
emotionally, I feel like I might be high maintenance, but luckily I got the right guy there. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Messiah on Netflix. Watch it, love it. He plays a Jesus-like character. They never call him that. They never really reference what's happening, but it's fucking amazing. And I was like, oh, it should be that guy because he did like he gave me chills. Like I loved him because of his role. Like
Would he play a good surfer bum?
no, but he's very mysterious, very quiet. One-liner drops where you've got to watch that one. I was like sad when it ended.
Hmm.
And it's a limited series on Netflix.
Oh, it's a series. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like 4 or 5 episodes, but it's
I'm kind
good.
of in a phase of just sticking with like documentaries again.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I watch shows, I feel like it makes my brain tired.
And sometimes it does. Like I went through periods where I couldn't watch certain things, I couldn't listen to certain things because it just at the time was unenjoyable. And I forgot that like I used to basically be a dude and all I liked were action movies. So I'm putting on movies and I'm like, yes, I love this movie. And then I was watching it and I'm like, I don't know if I like it as much anymore. And that part sucks because it's like part of your identity that just fell off. Where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm cool and I like action movies. And then I was like, but
Yeah,
it is
there's a period there, in the recent year or whatever that I, months, whatever, where I was watching occasionally like a Jason Statham movie or, something like that. And watching too much of it though, I think one movie here and there throughout the week, not a big deal. But now it's like it's not appetizing right now. The only thing I want to watch Alone, where they're out in the
oh
wilderness.
my God, Alone is always accept. Why is that one? That's it's so funny you said that. That one I can watch anytime because I
Yeah,
get what you're saying. When it comes to the fiction, I have if I'm not like, and I'm not saying you're not in a good headspace, but just depending on where I'm at in my head, I may not be because sometimes every fiction I will somehow make it about myself
hmm.
and like I don't know, feel what they're feeling. And if it's not good, then I don't want to feel like that. And so then I'll be like, okay, let's just stick with the documentaries. And then I'll do that. And it'll fluctuate. Sometimes I don't want any more information. And I'm like, I can't take anything else in. And other times I want to do like the full numbing out with my TV and fall into a pretend sci fi world of Dune or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's definitely it's like whether or not I'm ready for the energy exchange or not.
For sure. It's totally what it is. And you'll know
Yeah.
because you'll be like,
Right.
hey, it's been a while and I feel like it, where
Yeah.
it won't feel forced. Like with my action movies, it feels forced. I'm like, you're not enjoying this. Quit watching it, you weirdo.
Yeah.
But it's
So
that like,
we recently were going through and watching some Marvel movies and stuff, a lot of them, and I enjoy that, here and there, the Marvel movie, like it's cool.
word.
Is there stuff in there? Is there some conditioned thought in there? Certainly is, but you can watch it and fun and stuff like that. But then like now that I've been on this break for a little while and the new one's out, right? Which I would love. I like part of me wants to see the new one with Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds.
I was gonna take the kids, and then thank God I had that moment, and I was like, wait, I've seen the Deadpool movies. There's no way this one's gonna be like I'll watch it with
There's
the
some gruesome
baby
shit in there for sure.
but
But
yeah, I was like, and I put the kibosh on it, thankfully, like literally that day. And it was kind of sucky because it was the last day before school. We were going to do that. But I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to get looked at. And I haven't seen it yet. So I
yeah,
don't want to
I
embarrass
know.
myself or them.
I know that there's some good comedy in it for sure.
Oh, always. But like my son, he can't handle the gruesome stuff. Like if any animals or people die, he's
Mhm.
not, which is normal and how we probably should react.
Well, that's he's probably just more receptive to it, like empathically or whatever.
Yeah, mhm.
The last movie I think I went and saw in the theater was the most recent Mission Impossible, and when I came out of that movie, I felt like I had been brainwashed. Like I didn't feel like I was a different person, but I felt like the movie did some shit in here, and I'm
Yeah.
just like walking out with a hangover from it or some shit.
It's interesting you said a hangover because that's how I feel, but it's from all the people in the theater.
Huh?
They'll suck on your energy and they don't know they're doing it and you don't know they're doing it. I'm still horrible at shielding.
Could have been part of
I'll
that.
wait till like
Maybe.
I feel bad and I'm like, oh yeah, I got a shield. Damn it. And it is, I tell my kids all the time, do they do it? Probably never. I still don't remember, but it helps. Like just envisioning yourself in a blue bubble, whatever you want, but like only good things can come in anytime you're just with like more than one person, you should be shielded. And it does help so much because actually, scientifically, if you need the science, our auras even exchange. We can literally suck out like people's vitamins and minerals through an auric exchange. And I was like, what? So people can not just be taking my energy, but like my physical
Yeah.
minerals. Yet
Like what is it? Serotonin can actually transfer from body to body and shit.
what? That
Yeah.
is so trippy. Like how fucking cool is that? And
Yeah.
get up off my serotonin.
That's
That's
fine.
crazy. But it helps. It's so validating when you literally feel physically different being, at a party or something, you step outside and you're like, oh, fuck, I can breathe. That's what it is. It's just,
So in this category, last week I think I told you like I had a couple nights with the boys or whatever, and we went out to the beach. And this one night at the beach, we ended up at this bar that was like outdoor tiki bar, and it was a big area, a lot of people there. But man, we were just in the zone, having the time of our life, just having so much fun, talking to all
mhm.
sorts of different people. It was just really, really good vibes. And I was not really like looking around at anybody or anything like that. I mean, occasionally you look up, but I was really like in the conversations I was in. And then I went back the next day to meet up with a lady that I had met there the night before, just because she was in town only for like a couple days, and we had a good conversation. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I went back up there and went to the bar, and just like immediately felt just dense energy, you know. And then I'm like, okay, let me look around, and I kind of looked around, and there was a whole bunch of like that bro type of dude, you know, the gym kind of fucking, you know, out there looking for the hose, kind of like they're all in packs, you
The
know.
bros, the bros.
There was a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of them, and they were all staring me down, you know. And I'm like, okay, and I
There it is. Found it. Dee, dee, dee,
yeah,
dee.
and I was like, well, let me just go on ahead and get on out of here. Do you want to go for a walk on the beach? Let's do that instead.
Let's do that further from here. And that's all it takes is just I either send love or like I immediately shield, but yep, just removing yourself from the sitch usually does it.
Well, it's like you can look at it from the perspective of everything's a reflection, right? So there's something in that deeper within me, but we also have autonomy. And I recognize, hey, this vibe is not what's up. So do you want to go out there? You know?
If it physically like is to me, I agree. And I know we're all one and the same, but we're here to be human and experience it. And if I physically don't feel well, like I'm on leave. I may not like leave forever, but you know, like just going outside can make a huge difference.
I think a lot of them were, you know, to toot my own horn. They were looking at me like, because this is something that I know a historical version of myself would do, where like if you got a traditional man, whatever, you know, traditional man, you know, traditional straight man that is like, um, you know, they're out with their friends or whatever, and they see an attractive woman with a dude. It
Mm-hmm.
almost doesn't even matter what the dude looks like. The
Yeah.
immediate, it's like, ah, fuck that guy. Who's this fucking
Oh
guy?
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and so I was getting all of that, you know.
Oh, right, right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's I think that was even from one of the bartenders. I thought it was a dude that was just there hanging out, and then I realized he was one of the bartenders. I'm like, damn, they're just fucking all right. Hey, you want to get out of here?
Yeah. Well, let's not be in here with
Yeah.
because it's yeah, there's not and I read something yesterday and I loved it and it's like duh, but he was like, if you're tired of yourself, like don't be yourself. Like in that moment, I think it probably maybe if you get all Jungian about it, like stemmed from, you know, a projection of like the bro type and like yes, you
Mhm.
could have been a bro type, but you didn't want to be whatever. But in that moment, it you could see that they were talking shit. Maybe it was if you feel it, that's
Yeah.
all that matters. And it
Yeah.
isn't like, but I just thought it was cool where because I'll do that a lot, and I'm typically projecting 99% of it. If you have to make up a story, you don't know that it's real. You're assuming,
Hmm.
and yet we'll still have all the same feelings because of the thoughts that we're having. And so I'll do that, and then be like, okay, chill. If I'm not physically, you know, feeling something, but if it's the physical that pops up, that's when I'll just
Yeah.
politely excuse myself for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It was super super cool vibes the day before. It was so much fun, and we talked to so many people, and
Hmm.
man, some people ended up in the ocean. It was funny. We were out on the beach, and out of nowhere, people started handing me stuff, you know, and then like one guy's like, here's the hat, and the girl handed me this, and then they all just kind of went out, and I was like, all right, I'll stay here then, right? And I just kind of I turned around and I immediately set all the stuff on the ground, and then I turned back and I looked up and I stared at the sky the whole time they were in the water because it was so gorgeous, and I was like
Yeah,
kind of drunk, you know, and I'm
yeah.
just like, ah, you know,
That's pretty.
it was
That's
so
all,
great, so gorgeous.
dude.
I think I
That's
may have peed out there too, which is amazing. Peeing at night when you have a little bit of alcohol.
yeah. God, I do miss the beach. I've learned for sure I'm a forced person, like on the verses, but I have to have both. Like, ugh, the sound, just the sound, the roar of the ocean is
It's
so
yeah,
distressing. Like
so good.
anything just melts off.
It's majestic, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Um,
I
yeah,
don't have
so I didn't have any any like negative um thoughts, like depressive thoughts or anything after
It was
drinking? Which
good.
in the past I used to, they would come up, but I didn't have it. I was still like, hell yeah, a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit
like,
of like the body fatigue from the drinking,
yeah.
but like the mindset was like, hell yeah, So
Well, good, because maybe there wasn't shame tied to it this time.
I think that's there's whether it's shame tied to alcohol or just shame in general,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's pleasure, especially being in recovery. My body's almost like, nope, nope, like you're not allowed. And I'm like, no, I am. Just let's not take opiates. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Right. Let's not do the one thing.
yeah. Let's not do the one thing then, and let's go this.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys have gummies out there for cannabis?
No,
No.
every state over everything surrounding us, it's legal, 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 and then Texas,
Oh, y'all are no legal.
nothing.
That's
And
interesting.
it is interesting. It
Yeah.
almost makes you wonder because of the amount of money they would bring in, if maybe the cartel's paying someone more.
Oh, right, because they're fucking right there. Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
Every fucking state has lost. I mean, when Colorado first went legal, it took like 30 mil from the cartel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, Mr. Abbott, piece of shit that you are, you love money. I can see it on your, like, coming out of your pores. There is no chance that man wouldn't legalize it to get that money unless he was already making more from someone else.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
allegedly Abbott's getting paid by the cartel, but you can't sue me, so suck it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
It is what it is. But that is my theory because I was like, why? Who doesn't like money?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
You've given this some thought before.
I have because literally Louisiana, Mississippi, everything around us, Oklahoma, for the love of God, Oklahoma. That's
Huh.
like our competitor. And there's nothing but dicks and tumbleweeds out there, and they made it legal.
Mm. Mm. Well, hell, if y'all end up sometime realizing that you'd like to live somewhere that has the weed, then there's always those neighboring states, and there's always the Sunshine State down here in
There
the
is.
Florida.
There's also yes. It is. It's really annoying when you're made to feel like a criminal when you cross an invisible line. It's just so fucking so,
Yeah, man.
so dumb.
Yeah.
Because you have to feel like, man, it's like people aren't going to not do it. It's a flower from the ground. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
and they have like these CBD stores that sell flower, like sell bud, but it's the Delta 8 or whatever. It's like whatever is legal
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, it's okay. To me, it just makes you really tired,
Yeah.
but that's
That's
all
right.
I use because it's all that's legal.
Hello.
Hello?
There you are.
Did you lose me?
Yeah. You froze up for a second there. That's all right. That's all right.
Yes,
Um,
all right,
well,
all right.
I
I think
think
it's
that, huh?
I'm starting to get hungries in my tummies.
Yeah, I think that that's probably good for today. What do you think?
I think so. Woo woo crew out.